Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Leading Off. I am the Welsh. That is Bubba. And Leading Off is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go and check them out today. Use the promo code Leading Off. Get a 100% match up to $100. Welcome into the show where Bubba and myself will be talking about the latest news, answering your questions. Where in the world are Welsh and Corbin Carroll? PrizePicks, bets, home run calls. That's what we got on the docket today, Bubba. Damn it.
Yes, we do. I was like, where are you going with this one? Yes, we do. It's going to be a fun day. Fun Wednesday. I can't wait to find out where Corbin Carroll and the Welsh are after having a little siesta on Monday. So I'm really curious to see, he's still shoulder looks banged up. Maybe he's in an operating room. I don't know.
Well, we're actually going to talk about him in just a little bit. There's been a lot of chatter online. I want to talk about the Rookie of the Year stuff that's going down with him, because I think that race that looked like it was who was the horse that won the Secretariat? The Secretariat looked like it was the Secretariat one. I'm just hoping Corbin Carroll doesn't get turned into glue after this is where I'm going with it, because the race is slowing down just a tiny bit. I do want to remind you guys, as we have done, and I'm going to do the rest of the way, you guys have fantasy questions, drop them into the chat. I will ping them, and we will have a segment here in just a little bit where we're going to answer any of your fantasy questions, your starts, your sits. You could be asking about dudes, whatever you got. We will be answering all of them. But let's kick the show off today talking about the absolute garbage show that is the White Sox. And while we were gone, the White Sox, they S-canned the entire management crew, and it just continues to get worse. So you had Kenny Williams and Rickon fired, gone. See ya. Report came out today that looks like they are going to hire Chris Getz, former second baseman utility player, to be their new manager. But also what came out with it was the team being interviewed, Eloy Jimenez being interviewed, completely just nothing. I got nothing. And then the White Sox, their TV coverage after with Ozzie Guillen and them just absolutely tearing apart the team, blaming the players for everything that's gone on with the culture stuff. So, the fantasy relevance here is tough. I will say, I think you're going to get a dragged White Sox team the rest of the way through. Media's dragging them. Management, there's a lot of blame. Seems like just awful vibes that are going on with the White Sox, which, from a fantasy perspective, if you got questions about players, maybe you don't want to go out there. We know with fringy-ish players, I don't trust some of the pitchers. I'm not trusting Kopech today. I just want to get your take on the White Sox situation.
It's that meme of a dumpster on fire. That's the gif you're looking at right there. The crazy thing is we thought we hit rock bottom with Tony La Russa last year. We thought things would be better this year. Like you said, the Eloy thing was just so telling. Well, first off, you had the Middleton and Lance Lynn basically saying, yeah, the clubhouse sucks is what it comes down to. And then they ask Eloy, does anybody try to become a leader, say they want to be a leader? He says, nope. That was his answer. And it's like, wow, that's bad right there. What I want to know is, was this like different when Jose Abreu was there? Because he felt like kind of the elder statesman. They have a lot of Latin players. But then again, that was last year, and that was still a problem. So I don't know. It's a mess. They're talking about moving to Nashville. Like, they have all kinds of stuff going on.
There's no way they can move to Nashville. I don't buy any of that stuff. But Abreu definitely was a leader. They've got a lot of Cuban players that are in there. And the problem, I guess, is like when you only had one real actual clubhouse leader, and then that person's gone. No one was a step up. I mean, Luis Robert literally came out like a month or so ago and it's like, yeah, I'm not a leader. Like, he doesn't want to be. He did the old like Charles Barkley, like, I don't want to be a leader.
I'm here to hit bombs and steal a few bags. That's about it.
Well, and Eloy's not around the clubhouse enough. He's always injured, and he's always on the IL.
Yeah.
So he's not.
He's on the operating table. Go check.
Yeah. So there is a mental aspect to this that, that this White Sox team, it's sluggish and poor between Tim Anderson's garbage the whole year and Eloy Jimenez with injuries and production. Luis Robert has been a really solid bright spot, but it's a disaster. And I'm just predicting here, complete wipe. There's going to be a huge old wipe of this team in the offseason. You can't do anything with Robert unless you really want to blow it up and you want to change out the structure of the team. I don't think they do that. I think Vaughn and Robert are probably untouchable. I don't think a single other player is untouchable on this team. And I think they're going to implode this roster next season.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, they're going to have to. So Wonky made me laugh with this too, saying she took the 83.5 win line. And I agree with you. Is there anything worse, by the way, than being so right about something and not just putting every dime you have in? I had this, my bets on Monday, if you guys listen, absolutely smashed my bets. I wish I had bet my entire account on them. There's no worse feeling. This would be a really big one. What were you going to say?
I would say the craziest thing that's it's going to be tough to figure out is this White Sox deal. You mentioned Vaughn, you mentioned and Robert. It's how do you get a leader to come to the team? Because that's how they're going to have to do it. They're not going to build it from within. That's obviously what's taking place here. So you have to sign free agents that are willing to be leaders. Obviously, that might start with like your manager and whatnot, but you still need players in the clubhouse. Players respect players before they respect managers. And I'm really curious to see how that's going to play out.
Well, the other key is going to be like, who does this team think they are? Like, are they going to, they've got some young pieces. Now, if you want to talk, I'm saying, I think there's a lot of underperforming going on. I also want to throw out that, you know, with young guys getting some extra run, you may have some players that step up. Lenyon Sosa, the team is finally going to let him get some run. That might be a deeper league middle infielder that you could take a look at. And if they do that, you know, are they going to build pieces that are going to be 2 years away? Or are they going to try to just fix it and go right back out? If you go back out and fix it, then I don't know if you trade Cease. I don't know if you even consider Robert. Andrew Vaughn seems to be a core piece to this team. If you are going to completely play a rebuild, then Cease should go, you know, because someone asked, like, what pieces do they have? Well, Tim Anderson's going to get something. Dylan Cease is definitely something you can put out there and get multiple. But after that, you're right. Like, it starts to kind of fall apart. The team is
pretty bare.
It is a bit of a disaster. A turnaround. And I'm curious at how serious this turnaround you believe. Jesus Luzardo. So Luzardo, amazing through the year. Joe Pisapia, every time we come on, is no. Fallen apart to the point that we've talked about not only maybe sitting, but if it's going to continue to go, you can't trust Luzardo at all. Well, records 7 strikeouts over 6 shutout innings on Tuesday against the Padres. He had a 34% swing and whiff rate, which was solid, 31% CSW. I went and looked at his usage. Roughly the same, maybe a little bit less on the slider than he usually uses, but it was still in the 20s. The same 3-pitch mix was going on. He also had an uptick on velo across the board between probably on average about a half mile an hour. So he was pulling it back a little bit. Do you take this outing against the Padres as a sign of trust for Jesus Luzardo moving forward, regardless-ish of the matchup?
No, I don't. I'm still kind of wary of what's going on. I think he's a great pitcher. He's going to be a great pitcher someday, but I think he might be hitting a wall as well this season. My thing is, as I mentioned on like my DFS show, is the Padres are one of the biggest Jekyll and Hyde offenses you will face all season long. They like show up one day, don't show up another. Doesn't matter who they're facing. It's just weird like that. So I'd have to see Luzardo do it again type thing before I really buy back in.
Ooh, you know, I feel like would be a good. I feel like the Padres and the White Sox would be a good team to talk to each other. Like, you know, you're not going to move.
They've done that before. Talk to Tatis. They've done
it didn't go so well. But like, let's just hypothetically, I don't think they would consider trading Robert. The White Sox would, but let's say they did.
Oh, for Soto.
Well, how about a Tatis? You know, if you're looking at all the money that's out there, what if that team, you know, Tatis goes back to the White Sox? I love that idea.
That'd be pretty
completely.
wild.
And then, you know, I don't know how the pieces work. The only problem with that trade is, like, you know, the White Sox maybe, and Tatis is not a good team leader. And if you were to trade Robert, you probably want like a bunch of pieces to rebuild that team. But
for sure.
I mean, I think the Padres are another one of those that there's going to be some version of an overhaul that they're going to have to do next year because this nucleus doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No, Soto's not going to be around for long. They can't afford to pay all these guys. So,
on the Luzardo thing, just one last thing was, you know, Lee was mentioning, you know, he's never pitched more than 100 innings. He's at 140 now. There's definitely the slowdown on the wall that's going on. And I look at this as like the inconsistent pitcher that's going to be out there. So semi-favorable matchups like Brewers, Padres, those are kind of like in the top end of what I would do. Obviously, like the lower end guys, I would jump in. But if you're going against higher power offenses, guys that make a lot of contact, that would be like a Diamondbacks team makes a decent amount of contact. Those would be the teams I might hesitate a little bit putting him out there, especially if you are gripping to ratios in whatever capacity. So pay attention to that, but a very, very good sign for Luzardo. So here was my question before, Bubba. Matt McLain versus Corbin Carroll. There has been a serious uptick in conversation, whether I like it or not, whether I'm listening to it or not, that the rookie of the year race is not locked. Now, I went to look this morning on DK and there was no sign of the NL. They just don't want you to even bet it because Corbin Carroll's had it. But a lot of people have been pushing the narrative of Matt McLain. So, in not being the biggest homer on the planet and saying it's locked up like I have with Corbin Carroll, I want to present it to the audience and I want to present it to all the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks if you guys have an opinion, because what Matt McLain has done this year has been phenomenal. He is going to push Jonathan India off of his job. He's been the most consistent red. We all talk about Elly De La Cruz, but if not for Matt McLain, this team probably wouldn't be as good as they've been this entire year. So here are the stats I'm going to give you across, and you tell me, is there really a race going on? So let's start with Matt McLain. The most impressive number to Matt McLain right now, and one of the biggest things if you're looking at real baseball, is WAR. He's got a 3.2 WAR, which I believe, I actually didn't look at this, but I believe this is the second highest of any rookie so far this year. And it's growing and it continues to grow. He actually has a 3.2 WAR in around 100 less at bats than Corbin Carroll. Statistically, 14 homers, 11 stolen bases, 58 runs, 45 RBI, hitting 295 in, like I said, I think it's about 400 at bats. It's pretty good. Corbin Carroll has a 4.2 WAR. That's about a full WAR higher than him in 100 plus at bats. 21 homers. That is 7 more than McLain. 38 stolen bases. That is 27 more than McLain. He's hitting 20 points lower at 275, but he has 30 more runs. He has 88 runs and 61 RBI. That's more RBI. So I ask you, is there anything that Corbin Carroll can do or not do to win that Rookie of the Year award for in favor of Matt McLain?
Keep slumping for the next month of the season. Yes.
So do you think if he stinks it up, Matt McLain can come in and be Mr. I snatched your Rookie of the Year award?
It would have to be the worst months of baseball. Like, I find it hard to see Corbin Carroll not winning it, but McLain, especially the ballpark he plays in, he's going to put up pretty good numbers the rest of the way. That's going to be the helper. It should be Carroll. He's done it for a full season from the go, but this does not look good. And honestly, the shoulder injury, what if he hits the IL and now he's out for a while? Like, there's a lot of scenarios that take place here.
Okay, Carroll. So that's a fascinating one, because here's a couple comments in here. Jason says McLain is great, but Carroll is a lock. Wonky said and I agree with this. The only thing McLain has is recency bias, because he's been so good that is a key that
that's a large chunk of recency bias, though. He's done it it's not just like a couple weeks here. He's done it.
No, and I think one of the biggest things that works in favor of Matt McLain, and why I think it's going to be eye-opening when we look at how we're drafting him next year. Matt McLain has been good all year long. No doubt about it. He's just, I don't know if there's been a given streak. I didn't pull it up and I don't want to send us on a whole thing, but he's been consistent the entire year, where Corbin is not. Corbin, coming out of the break, the first 30 days coming out of the break, was hitting like 220. He started the season off without having a walk through 3 weeks. He has been inconsistent. Matt McLain has never been inconsistent. But if Corbin Carroll were to stop playing today, does anyone really think Matt McLain can take that over? Let's say Matt McLain gets to 20 homers, he gets to 20 stolen bases, WAR is about the same. Can he still even take that award from Corbin Carroll if Corbin Carroll just stopped playing right now? Because I just want to remind you that, like, the WAR is fun, but categorically, it's not even remotely close between these two players. Corbin Carroll destroys, outside of the batting average, 27 more stolen bases, 7 more homers, 30 more runs. The only thing that he could catch in that time span would be, well, I'm just saying, only thing he could catch would be homers and probably RBI, and it would still be 3 categories. He's not getting steals.
But, if we don't use WAR, what is it good for? So we got that going. The one thing I will say, I did a too early DC on Tuesday night. McLain went pick 54, middle of round 4.
I think he goes higher next year. I think he legit can go higher.
I'm just saying, we're talking the recency bias game, like with a bunch of quote unquote guys that play this for a long time now. He went pick 54.
Yeah, see, I'm not surprised about that. I'm very interested in it, and like I'd be sad, and I think it would be kind of a bad call if that were to not go to Corbin at the end of the day because of this. But like, Matt McLain has made it a race. And I think everybody in here kind of agrees. Yeah, so McLain only had a bad stretch for 2 weeks.
Here's a question for you.
Okay.
Who has a better shot of losing their award? Ronald Acuna Jr. or Corbin Carroll?
I would say Corbin Carroll. There's someone more. I mean, Matt Olson is on Ronald Acuna's tail too. But okay, so what's a closer? Yeah, what's a closer race? Is it Olson to Acuna or is it McLain to Carroll? I got to tell you, now that I'm thinking about it, I just don't see that there's a way that Matt McLain can take this from Carroll, even though the war's getting closer. And I kind of do see a scenario where Matt Olson could take this over if he hits 60 homers or something like that. I'm curious at what you guys think. I'm curious at what everybody has to say about that. So that has been a race that's out there. Somebody said, hey, do the AL. Just want to point out Gunnar Henderson is running away with this award.
Yeah, there's
minus 300.
He's taking that one to the bank. And he's heating up again. He slumped for like 2 weeks. He's heating up again. It's over.
Yeah, I think there's a better opportunity, though, that someone like Yoshida playing all season long and consistent could take it over, though, over McLain taking it over Carroll at this point.
Possibly. So. Kind of stinks that all these races are pretty much done.
Yeah, I know. Like if Josh Young were still out there, it would be really good.
It's a good call.
So speaking of, I'm locking in a couple of your questions because we're going to get to questions here soon. So any other fantasy questions, put it up so we talk about it. The hint for where in the world are Welsh and Corbin Carroll today, you can put it in the chat. I'll be giving away an autograph card to the person that is the most right. I'd also say feel free to keep track of your correct answers as I go here. The hint is marble. Marble is your hint today. At the end of the show, we will look and see where are Welsh and Corbin Carroll. The only other thing I had here before we get into all the ancillary stuff was Bryce Harper. 2 for 3 with a homer, 2 RBI, 1 run scored in a win over the Giants. And I wanted to point out how good Bryce Harper's second half has been. I was ready to write off where we were. Obviously, the injury was going to zap power. He's finding his rhythm. He's feeling healthier. First half in 56 games, he hit 290, which was good, but only 3 homers. 36 games in the second half, he's up to 8 homers, hitting 306 on the season. He has become a problem again. And somebody we are going to get a discount on in redraft next year.
Yeah, he was a round 3 pick last night in our draft, which is going to be ridiculously cheap. He's heating up. Like you said, he's getting healthy. I watched a lot of his games the last 2 nights against the Giants. And just in general, this Phillies team, they're looking scary again. They're looking a lot like last year, all of a sudden when they caught fire. But yeah, Harper's doing Harper things. He might finish. He can get hot. If he gets close to 15, 16, 17 homers by the end of the season, that's a heck of a season.
Very good. And by the way, marble. People, yeah. I'm like a mush mouth idiot. I understood you completely.
That's just
I sound like a mush mouth idiot. Everyone's like, Marvel? I mean, I do like Marvel, so it's not unthinkable or anything like that. Marble is it, my friends. All right, rookie lookies. I've actually got a couple I just want you guys to pay attention to, but Kyle Harrison made his debut, surrendered 2 runs over 3 3/3. He struck out 5 in this short stint, 14 swing and whiffs in that, a 37% CSW rate. So I'm wonky penguin on Kyle Harrison moving forward. He did exactly what I thought, wasn't going to get stretched out to a bunch of innings, but looked pretty good. Your thoughts, Bubba, on Kyle Harrison?
I absolutely loved it. Like we all knew he wasn't going to go deep. He almost got to 70 pitches, which was big for him, honestly. A lot of fastballs. He was dealing them, throwing by people. Off speed was okay. The lefties were hitting him. That was the crazy part in the game. Harper, the 2-run homer, Schwarber had a double. But overall, he looked very, very good in his first start.
He did. And, one of the highest, I think, said it was like the 7th highest stuff plus number in the minors so far this year. He's been inconsistent, but he was throwing strikes. He only walked 1, which was huge. This might be a huge confident boost through the rest of the way. If you're looking to steal innings, it's probably more of a roto play. I don't think this is as much of a head-to-head play. Roto play, if you're looking for innings with strikeouts and stuff, maybe he sneaks into a win. I would love for them to piggyback.
That's what they need Walker. To do. They piggyback everywhere else. Like, do it now. Yeah.
But let him be the second half. Like,
so he can get the wins. I'm with you.
Stripling or Walker, whoever the hell, and give them 2 innings to start, and then let Kyle Harrison go 3 or 4, because then you can get the win, and you'll probably get 6 strikeouts, and it'll look solid. So that would be something to take a look at. So the only other, I wanted to give you guys an update here on some rookies for the rookie Lookie that might be coming soon. About a week, we're going to see. Maybe AFL related. If they don't, most likely not. 2 guys I think that are headed to the majors very shortly, and 1 guy you need to be paying attention to who might be a dark horse. First up, Pete Crow Armstrong. Pete Crow Armstrong, been screaming about. He's going to go. Check this out. Currently is on a 15-game hit streak and only has 1 month all season where he has not hit 292 in a given month. Pete Crow Armstrong is for the majors, especially if they're doing anything. Second up, Colt Keith. He went 1 for 3 yesterday with his 21st homer of the year. He had a couple walks. Downside, he's only hitting 240. He only hit 246 for August, but only 3 days this entire month he did not register a hit. I have to believe the Tigers are going to give him a look. I mean, don't you think this is a guy that's not going to go to the AFL? They've got to give him a look.
They got to give him a look. They've already called up, Meadows and everything else. It's time to just go full in, see what you got, get ready for a fun 2024.
That's right. Just marking a couple things here. And then the last one, Jason Dominguez was just called up to AAA. Not saying they would do this because they did just bring back up Oswald Peraza and Everson Pereira, but Jason Dominguez up at AAA had 3 hits in his debut and now has 3 or more hits in 4 of his last 6 games and might be having one of the quietest monster minor league seasons just because his batting average and I think full-on prospect fatigue has gone on with him. 15 homers, 37 stolen bases in the minors. He's right around 260. He's raised his average. I do not think it's unthinkable that he could play in the majors, especially towards the back end and vie for a spot next year. Not saying it's going to happen, but he has been a freaking monster.
Question for you real quick. Dominguez or Solis, both so young, which is more impressive?
Well, Solis, I think. Like I'm impressed with Dominguez, but Dominguez has been a little bit of a road. He's still never hit for average. The defense, he kind of stinks. Like that's actually one of the reasons I think he's not going to come up this year would be because of how poor his defense is in general. But Ethan Solis going up and he hit a walk-off win last night in his AA debut at 17 years old. And as I posted in a tweet, Bubba, he can't legally stay out past midnight and he's walking off AA games. That dude is something
He has
else.
to get a parent's note to miss class.
It's 100%. What is he like? It's crazy. It's totally crazy. I'm actually a little bit bummed that I don't think I'm going to see him in Instructs, and he might be in the AFL, dude. He might be in the AFL.
Awesome.
Yeah, I hope so. Let's get a couple listener questions. I don't think you guys went through the roof, so we can probably get through here. Let's see. Is Will Smith going to blow 10 saves this season? Yes.
Possibly, yes.
Yes, I'm going to go with absolutely yes. Richard said, my haunting personal question, you could only keep 2 for next year. Geloff, Skubal, Morel, Berger, Estrada. Who do you pick?
Geloff and Skubal's close. I'm not usually a pitcher keeper. I'll go Skubal.
It's my exact order. I think Morel's up and downs take him off. Berger's up and downs take him off, though there is 40-plus homer potential in Berger. But, like, I think guys like Schwarber are questionable keepers anymore because you can't – you hit one – cool, you got 40 homers, but, you know, you're hitting 170. Geloff and Skubal are easy here.
The one year they hit 24 homers, you're screwed.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. McLain. Okay, so I don't know if this is a question. I think with guys like Adames, Correa, Xander Bogaerts, McLain looks like a nice bet for next year. Oh yeah, just a dynasty stud. Yeah, completely agree with that. Oneil Cruz over Volpe in a keeper league right now.
I still go Oneil Cruz, but there's a bit of new news I put in the injury notes we can talk about. It just came out about half hour ago.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't think if you guys would throw out a couple others, I don't know if I missed any others here, but answering a few of your questions. And, I got to put another question up so I don't reveal something. All right. Let's get to the injuries. Like you just said, Jarren Duran to the IL with a toe injury. Wilyer Abreu was called up. I think got a hit last night. JD Martinez to the IL. And Michael Busch was called up. Bubba, I was doing rates and barrels yesterday. This is like the 3rd time this happened this season. I literally was like, Michael Busch has been in the minors for 40 years. And I'm like, they're never going to call him up. They literally called him up like the second I said that. They brought him back up. He's been destroying the minor leagues. He is a fun option, though. I just don't know where they're going to give him playing time. That's the only problem.
That's the question. That's probably why he wasn't up before. He came up for a cup of coffee earlier, didn't do much, goes back down, keeps mashing in AAA. Dodgers just have so many moving pieces. That's always the problem with them. And I just don't know where he'll get enough PT to get comfortable.
Yeah, that's kind of my ultimate. Like, I would love to spot start him and stuff, but I just don't think they're going to give him the playing time. Nick Lodolo had a setback, and an MRI revealed another stress reaction in his left tibia. That's going to do it for the season, folks.
It's all, folks.
Bye-bye. Yep, you can cut bait on that if you were sitting around here. Yordan Alvarez missed Tuesday's game after slamming his finger in a door at home. How many times have you done this in your life? And what's the worst place you slammed your finger?
Garage door, not the garage door, but the actual like door in the garage. That hurts. It's usually a heavier door.
Like, oh, you mean just like the door in, not like the garage?
Not the garage, not the one that goes up and down with the button. A different one. But that's probably my worst one. That, or I don't know, sliding doors hurt too.
Oh, sliding doors are bad. I've done that.
Yeah.
The worst one is the car. Yep. Dan said it as I said it. The car is the worst. I have literally shut the door on my finger, and that's the worst. Like, especially when you indent your finger and it like changes shape. You're just like, oh my God, I've destroyed it. Yeah. That's the word. I just put it out there. Brian Wu limited the White Sox to 1 run over 4 innings on Tuesday, which was kind of a shock. Some people asked me, "What do you start him?" I said, "Absolutely not. I don't do this."
They said he'd be on a pitch count.
Yeah, and I think it still works out because you didn't get a qualified win. He looked pretty good, but Hunter Green absolutely got blasted. So it's another reminder, like, very few guys get the carte blanche to just go out there and be cool if they come off of injury. And I think the news you were talking to, O'Neal Cruz stopped running as he was experiencing lingering pain in his left foot. So that's what you were referring to if you're talking about Dynasty. I don't know if that would change my Dynasty outlook.
Not for Dynasty, but I just wanted to bring it up for people there's people stashing him for a few weeks for like a September callback. Because if he would have kept on what he's doing now, he'd be back like late first week of September.
Yeah, I had been holding him in the TGFBI. Like, I never cut him. I just thought we would get him back, and that'll all but do it, folks.
I think that pretty much does it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're not going to be seeing any of him. 3 up and 3 down. Andy Ibanez yesterday, 2 for 3, 2 homers, 4 RBI. Slavius Basabe. Or Basabe. I always say Basabe. It's Basabe. 2 for 5 with a grand slam and 4 RBI. Pretty slick. I think somebody just asked thoughts on Basabe rest of season. When he makes a lot of contact, I was always worried that there wasn't going to be any impactful like category stuff. Grand slam, that swing looked pretty lofty and good. Hey, why not? In deep leagues, I might consider.
He said over 300 since he came up, and there's a good chance they took down the pictures of a certain someone in that stadium, so he might have that job for the rest of the year.
Did you? That's a wild thing too.
Yeah,
like
when they started taking pictures down, that says a lot, folks.
I mean, that's like coming back in on Monday and like someone's cleared your desk and you're just like, am I fired? And they're like, no, you're good.
You're in the basement.
It looks really bad. Like that. Yeah. That's another one of those things. It just looks really Now, I will say this. There is an element of a team might be like, we want to take this off because people might vandalize this stuff because of what's going on. But like they put him on an administrative leave and then start doing that. Yeah, it don't look good for the future of anything that was going on with Franco. And this is who it is on my 3 up and 3 down, Bubba. The third one, I just put stats. I didn't even put the name of the person, but I know who it was. It was Zach Gallen. 6 innings, 11 strikeouts yesterday.
Filthy.
Yeah, but I just put stats, and luckily
that's all you need to know. So baseball minds understand these things.
That's right. The 3 down, Drew Smiley, 3 2/3. He gave up 7 earned runs. Cade Marlowe went 0 for 5 with 4 Ks, and Daniel Bard got 1/3 of an inning in, got blasted for 4 earned runs. No bueno, my friends. No bueno. What is bueno? PrizePicks. Leading off is the promo code 100% match up to $100. We love to make our picks. Hopefully, you guys want to make them with us. Bubba. Who you picking? Let's get one. I think I might have I didn't go back and pay attention. I think I might have cashed on that PrizePicks on Monday, even though I lost Giolito.
On Tuesday, I went 2 for 2 because my J-Rod pick got canceled because he had the poops. So I'll take this on today's slate. I will take Severino, Mackenzie Gore under 10.5 Ks because Severino won't be long for that game, and the Yankees aren't striking out a lot versus lefties right now. I'll take Kyber Ruiz over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs because Severino's pitching. and Ruiz has been very, very good. And then I'll get Mookie Betts over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, as I think Betts and the Dodgers have a lot of fun with Curry. They like a little Thai food tonight.
My pick, yeah, there you go. The picks I'm going to go with, I've got George Kirby, fantasy score 31.5. I'm going to take the over. Julio, back from the poops, I'm going to go 9.5 over. And Randy Arozarena, fantasy score 7.5. Those Mariner ones are a little bit earlier, so if you're listening on the podcast side, you better get it in real quick. But you guys can always let us know what you got going down. Best bets for the day, I was a clean, technically 3 for 3 on my bets, giving you the two different, I think it was the Mariner ones, and they cashed it in the first inning on the team total runs. So coming off a very nice Monday for 3 for 3. But what say you today, Bubs?
Bobby Witt over 1.5 total bases at even money. I'll take that all day long in Oakland in a great matchup. You'll get a sense here. I like Washington. I like Kyber Ruiz over 1.5 total bases for Kyber Ruiz at plus 145. Yeah, sign me up for that. And then J-Rod, I'll take the over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at minus 125. I think he might do it with one swing of the bat today.
Oh, okay. Maybe he can just start off the game. That's like the best. All right. So my bets for today, I am going with, I wanted to play these solo, but they're pretty juiced. And one of them is really nice. But here you go. So I'm going back to my team total runs. I like to play those. Speaking of that one swing, that might get me there because I am taking the Seattle first 5 team total runs. So they got to score 3 runs through the first 5 innings is essentially that bet, but it is juiced to hell because they're going up against Kopech, right? I think that's the matchup today.
Yes,
I think it's Kopech.
Yes. Yep.
So I love playing against him. I think he's given up like 4 earned runs in like 4 of his last 5. So I love that bet, but it's really juiced. So I paired it with Toronto 1.5 team total runs through the first 5.
I like that as well.
I got plus 170. I think it moved down to around 160. Both of them are juiced to hell. So you could play them individually if you want, but I paired them together. I also like Toronto first 5 money line. So, even if they're tied, you're just going to push. That one's got a lot of juice. It's minus 150, but I really, really am into that one. And then a plus money play, Kenta Maeda, 5.5 strikeouts over. It's plus 105. So, I think he has struck out 6 in 5 or 6 of his last 7. And it was a double back-to-back on Detroit where he didn't quite get that, where he had like a 4 strikeout game. He's been a strikeout monster. And I think this one, I just didn't write it down. I think this is the Brewers they're going up against. Yep. And they have been strikeout-y on the season, just not as of recent. So I am going to go with that with my best bets. What do you got on the DFS today?
On the DFS side of things, there's a 6-game evening slate. By the time you guys listen to this, early slate will be happening. So Kershaw against Cleveland at 9.9K. Morton versus the Mets. He dominated him his last time out, except he also walked 7 of them. So bounce back there at 9K. And then Mackenzie Gore, again, I don't love it because the Yankees are actually hitting over 3. They'll hit almost 350 versus lefties in the last month. But 7.6K for Gore, who was great before the blister. Stacks, Washington versus Severino. Dodgers versus Curry. Toronto now versus Dean Kramer as Flaherty got scratched. So I like that. Some value. Mike Moustakas went deep on Tuesday. He's still 3.1K versus whoever. Cincinnati's throwing in game 2. I've seen 2 different names now. Chanel's 2.8K versus whoever. Cincinnati's throwing in game 2. And I'll even throw Brandon Belt out there at 3.5K. Dude is fuego right now. Now he gets Dean Kramer.
A couple of quick questions just to get back to you guys sort of dropping some more. Richard said, Eovaldi now a top 10 dynasty pitcher going forward. Just older, had some inconsistencies, velo dropped. I'm going to say no, but he's definitely worth way more. Actually, dynasty, he's so sneaky because he is older that I would be more interested in his value, assuming everybody devalues him, but not a top 10. I just don't like big velo dips midseason, even though he got away with stuff. So I'm going to say no. What to do with Ellie? Drop him for Abrams or Suzuki? In a redraft, would you drop Ellie for Abrams?
Wow.
It's amazing Abrams is available.
Yeah, I probably would because I love the talent of Ellie. I think he's more talented than Abrams, but consistency right now, Abrams is the guy.
Yeah. What is up with Yonir Diaz? Will he continue to play every day? I don't know if we can predict that, but with him being able to play first and catcher, and if they want to throw him at DH, I think they're going to get him playing time just about every day.
We've been asking this question every time someone comes off the IL. They find a new place for him because he's about to hit 20 home runs. You keep playing Yonir Diaz.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. I should have followed this up. I didn't see it. Richard said, Carlos Rodon or Eovaldi in Dynasty. Who would you take for next year? Eovaldi. Yeah, I think I would too. Yeah, I think I don't trust any of it, so I think I would right now. All right, friends, Where in the world were Welsh and Corbin Carroll? Corbin Carroll had 2 hits. Why was he revived, getting that Rookie of the Year? We're about to find out. Your final guess is in while the video hits. The guess was Marble. Where in the world were Welsh and Corbin Carroll? The guess was Marble. This is my favorite answer. Actually, my favorite answers are coming in right now. Tower of Joe Pisapia. Denny's is a good one. I just saw some ridiculous ones. The guess was Marble. Trying to figure out the best way I could do it because Corbin Carroll and I, well, joining him. What are there? Wonders of the world? There's 7. Corbin Carroll wears number 7. So we went to the Taj Mahal. Marble, that's right. The Taj Mahal, one of the 7 wonders of the world. I guess I could have just said 7 would have been a good guess. Yep. A lot of people know, by the way, that the Taj Mahal was built by Mughal Empire of Shah Jahan after the death of his wife, Mumtaz Mahal. Few know the fact that Mumtaz was, I'm probably saying these wrong, was the 3rd wife and died during the labor of their 14th child. The labor lasted 30 hours before she died. And yeah, that's just a little bit. I know you guys wanted some information on the Taj Mahal. That's what Corbin Carroll and I learned. So there you go, Bubba. What do you think?
Now you have to do that every place you go to. Now I need a backstory because that was priceless, absolutely priceless.
Yeah, and I want to give credit. Carly was the very first person that nailed it. Carly said Taj Mahal. Richard said almost certain to be Taj. We had Doobie in here, and then we had Michael. So those were the 4 people that I got that said Taj Mahal. So very, very good job. I'm going to give you guys a warning. They're going to get weird. And they're going to get weird in September. They're going to get really weird coming up. So just get that in your brain as we track these. And I will be sending out an autographed Corbin Carroll card to somebody. So hopefully you guys are still digging that. I was telling Bubba before the show, I was like, I don't want to annoy people because I can be annoying with bits and stuff. And I don't want to be annoying with it. The very first comment was like, this is where I think they're going to go. So I'm like, okay, you guys kind of still dig it. So I appreciate
if they're sticking with us this time of the year, they know our wittiness, our goofiness.
Yeah, that's right. Home run contest. Here's the home run contest. I have not been eliminated from it. Blue Harvester is running with 48. JJ Tater is up there. I don't see a whole lot of other moves. I think Wonky might have got one. Wonky is in 7th. I'm in 8th, so we're still on the board here. JJ Tater is coming for Blue Harvester. We got a month, so this game is anybody's. So Harvester is going to have to probably have a pretty big weekend coming up here. But someone's going to win that autographed Corbin Carroll helmet that is sitting here with me. Bubba, who are you going with your home run call today?
Gonna go get me some Thai food. Give me some Freddie Freeman off of Curry.
All right, I am going. I'm going to go with Randy Arozarena. I did everything with the show sheet, and then I didn't go and do major focus on my home runs. But going up against Colorado and Austin Gomber, I'm going to go with Randy Arozarena for my home run call today. And we will be back again on Friday. We're going to set you guys up with streamers. We're going to be answering your questions. Where will Corbin and Welsh be and everything more. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Make sure to check out PrizePicks with the promo code leading off. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube so you can hang out with us live because you guys are the best. You guys are hilarious. So make sure you do that. And if anything else, just make sure you're locked into the podcast so you got all the action from Bubba and myself. Find Bubba at BDNtrick. You can find me at IsItTheWelsh. Thank you guys as always. And until next time, friends, it's more fun right here on Leading Off. Peace out.